morning. Today I'm going to talk about everything that I've purchased in May. So when we've talked about my budget, me wanting to pay off all of my debts and start saving some money for next year when we move, and talking about my no buy / low buy, I mentioned that there wouldn't be as many hauls. So I thought what I would do instead is just kind of like a rundown once a month of everything I've purchased, things that I've been tempted to buy, and kind of how I'm doing with my financial goals. Right, I've just gone off on a major tangent. I've tried to film this clip like 3 times. And I don't know how much to tell you and how much not to tell you, because we're just going to talk about what I bought in May. But I also was going to try and update you on kind of like where I was at in my finances, but also being mindful that lots of people are struggling right now, and lots of people have lost their jobs or on furlough 80%. They have less money than usual. And for sure, I also have less money than usual. We went through a redundancy process, whatever, just before lockdown. We found out about it at Christmas. I told you at the time. We found out we were safe from redundancy because several people put up for voluntary redundancy. And then we went into lockdown and we all panicked and thought, maybe when this all ends, there'll be another round. So I completely understand the uncertainty and the concern of losing your job and losing your income. Although obviously I've got multiple income streams because I also do my internet stuff. But I kind of went off on about a million tangents talking about that, talking about how much money I've paid off with my debts, talking about kind of where I'm at in my journey. And I feel like that's another video. I think this is just going to get away from me, and it's going to be 10 minutes before I talk about anything else. So I will talk about that. I want to talk about how much I've paid off. I've done much better than I thought I would because I've saved some cash during lockdown, and I'm kind of really far ahead. But that gave me a little bit of a false sense of security and made me spend a bit more this month than I had planned. So let's just get into it. The first things that I bought were the Morphe. It was the Morphe sale. Someone sent it to me and then I posted it on Instagram because I couldn't not, because it was 50% off on the setting sprays. I don't want to. My hair is driving me crazy. It's so warm. It's so warm right now. I don't want to be responsible for anyone spending money right now that they don't need to be spending. But at the same time, when something amazing comes up like 50% off something that I love, I'm going to share it. So I got the Morphe Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist, which I talked about in my last video. Look at my nails. I miss my nail lady so much, and she only lives like 3 doors down. I saw her the other day going for a walk and she had fabulous nails. Made me a little bit cross. Right, so this I mentioned in my last video. I did a little bit of a day test with it because I love the original, and this one is mattifying. You don't even need a powder. You spray it on and it mattifies your face. Fantastic. Also really, really good for helping to keep your makeup lasting longer. And then, because I needed to spend a certain amount to get free shipping, I got a mini one of these, which I intended to keep for myself, and I was going to just like have in my handbag all the time. And then I was putting together a box, which I'll talk about in a second, for Emma. And I decided to put it in there because it took like 3 weeks to come or something crazy. And I had planned on ordering one, and I thought, well, I'll just put that in her box because I don't think I've got time to wait for another one to come. So I also ordered the Filter Effect Finishing Powder from Morphe, which I've barely used, because the mattifying mist, you don't need to use powder. I used powder in that video, but today I've used it again, and I literally just, it gives you you still get a little shine from your highlight and stuff, but it just mattifies your face. Absolutely incredible. Also, am I in focus? Because I think this camera is on its way out. Before I started filming, it was like, we'll see. Right, so I couldn't resist, and this was like day 1. It was like the first of the month or something crazy. So the next thing was Emma suggested, this was after I'd made that Morphe order, Emma suggested we do a box swap, which would be like a fun gift-giving exercise that then at the end of it we could unbox it and show you in a video what we'd each sent to each other, which I really loved the idea of. We had a budget. I think I may have gone over the budget because, as is so common with people who lean on shopping in times of crisis and as a comfort, I took the opportunity. This was like free shopping. This didn't count. This wasn't included in my no buy because it's not even for me. And initially we had a budget which was a regular amount of money. And, you know, I didn't go crazy, but I wasn't very careful because I just was excited to be spending money. And so I was browsing and I was getting really excited about, oh, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And then it kind of gave me the bug. And instead of like quenching that thirst for shopping, it kind of reignited something in me. And then I started shopping for Father's Day. So I got my things for Emma, which I don't want to talk about, but one of the things that I purchased for her, I also purchased for myself. It was a small thing, but I did. And so that counts. But I was, you know, it was getting away from me. And then I started talking about Father's Day. Now, Father's Day is supposed to be token gifts. It's not, Father's Day is not a big gift holiday for us, event, whatever you want to call it, occasion. It's smaller than a birthday. I would say it's like half a birthday in terms of gift giving. Sometimes very small, sometimes a little bit bigger, never a big gift. And last year, I remember I wanted to get Lee some AirPods. And he was going through this phase of, if I spent too much money on him, he would give me the money back. And there's no, like, he would just transfer it to my bank. I'm like, but I purchased this for you. And he'd be like, no, it's too expensive. And so he'd just give me the money back, which is infuriating. And so around the time I was going to buy him the AirPods, I thought, well, I can't get them for him because if I buy them I'm just costing him that money. So I didn't. And I bought him some kind of like knockoff ones. And he wears them all the time. He goes to walk the dog multiple times a day. He does his exercise in the living room on his phone while we're watching TV. All of that stuff. By the way, I got up at 6:30 this morning to exercise. Who even am I? I was not happy about it. But I did. I'm trying to be a little bit more active, and I'm very mindful that I'm just like getting really, not to mention kind of soft everywhere. So yeah, there is that. But anyway, so we wore these things all the time, and they were starting to like not connect as quickly, and they weren't particularly great. They didn't stay in his ears all that well. And I thought, right, Father's Day, I am going to buy him these AirPods. It's a big present for Father's Day. But I did. And then I saw, well, there was an not an ASOS sale, an All Saints sale. Oh, I'll get him a couple of t-shirts. Oh, and there was this other thing. And that again spiraled. And it's become like birthday present sized occasion, which didn't need to be. And that was all because I'd got the bug. And I thought, I don't even know if I would have spent that money in the first place. But do you know what I'm saying? You just get that like, it's a slippery slope. It's like 1 drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks. It's like one little bit of shopping. Well, I'm already spending this much, so I might as well buy this. Well, what about this and what about that? And I actually just saw an advert because I haven't bought anything for my dad yet. And I saw an advert for this thing. Really, really struggled for my dad. We try not to buy things for each other. Now we all live in the same house, and next year hopefully we'll be moving. Nobody wants to buy anything for the other person that's like just a cluttery thing around the house. So I struggle. I'm always trying to look for kind of consumables. And I got an advert on Instagram, which I think is a really cool thing. And it's like you get this envelope and it's got all these clues, and it's a puzzle that takes between half an hour and 2 hours to solve. And my mum and dad are really into puzzles. And I think it was something like £15. I thought, oh my God, that's so cool. So I think I'm going to order that for my dad as part of his thing. And then immediately I was like, maybe I'll order one for Emma as well. No, just stop. I'm sorry, Emma, if I didn't order one by the time you get the box. But I can't, I have to stop myself. I have to rein myself in. So this kind of like made me click happy. Also, my mum's birthday is in July, and I was just, I did buy her some Coronation Street stamps. Yeah, I did. See, it's getting away from me. Yesterday, I nearly bought Lee a commemorative Harry Potter coin. I don't even think he would want it. I was just, oh, yes, I'll buy that. Oh, yes, I'll buy that. It's crazy. Also, my mum bought a giant pool at the beginning of lockdown. You might have seen this if you watch my vlogs. She bought a giant pool at the beginning of lockdown, and we've been kind of spending a lot of time in it. So I bought some floats for that, which felt okay. I felt like I could justify that. I didn't spend loads of money. Just like a couple of floats to like sit in and stuff. And she had already bought loads as well. And I bought some sun cream. Sun cream is mega expensive. And I asked on Instagram what your favourite sun cream was. And a couple of people mentioned this, and this was really cheap. I think it was something like £15 for 4 of these, which is good, on Amazon. I think it's Amazon's own brand, maybe. Solimo. Have you heard of this brand before? Because I had not. Anyway, got 4 of these, factor 50, water resistant specific. Absolutely fantastic. And I know that it's good because Milo is pale as they come. and I like slathered him all over with this stuff. And the day when he was wearing it, I had put it all on my upper body, but I'd completely forgot to put it on my legs, and my legs were bright red, and he, nothing at all. He was still milky white. So it's very effective. And I also bought myself this Factor 50 facial spray. I'm trying to work out if other people have been pinching this, and I think they have. Because of my pigmentation, I just feel like I can't have enough SPF on my face, so I'm like constantly spritzing myself with that as well. So again, we're spiraling, but we didn't go too crazy in terms of Amazon this month. That was kind of my click happiest moment. And then the other thing that I purchased, which was another rather expensive purchase, was £50, was Animal Crossing. So I bought Animal Crossing. I bought it for Milo. Milo's not interested in Animal Crossing, even a slightly amount. We've been listening to a lot of Charlie and Lola and reading it at night time. I feel like I'm starting to talk like Lola. Even a slightly amount, Charlie. Animal Crossing is amazing. I didn't buy it for myself. I was like, I'll probably play it a little bit. We'll see. I love it. It's so my kind of thing. I mean, I'm a simmer, and there is a new Sims coming out. So I share my login with a friend, and I hadn't, because I've been so into Animal Crossing, I hadn't really even looked at the new Sims pack until like a few days ago, but I got a notification and she had purchased the new pack. So that doesn't even count. I got that one for free. Thanks, Lex. So I am excited about Sims. I am. But if you're into Sims, if you're into kind of that kind of game and lots of like collection-y stuff and completing sets and stuff, and it's really cool. I thought it was going to be like a My Sims Go, which I hated. I thought it was going to be like a very kiddie game, but it's not. I really, really like it. Anyway, so Animal Crossing. And it has been a really nice form of escapism. I understand why people love it so much. I've spent a lot of time on it. So cost per wear, cost per use, cost per minute has been pretty good. But still, I did spend £50 on it, and it was an impulse purchase. Now, I think that's everything that I've actually purchased. I haven't added all of that up. I haven't added it all up, but it's going to probably come in at a lot of money. It's probably going to come in like £250. More than £250. It probably would. It definitely would. Yikes. So that's a lot more money than I anticipated spending. And the bulk of that was gifts. And so this is, whenever I've watched videos where people talk about budgeting, no buy, like reining themselves in financially, they always talk about gifts. And this was really my first experience of that since I've been like really limiting myself to spending. My first opportunity to buy a gift, really. And I completely failed because immediately I was like, oh, remember that really expensive thing that I wanted to buy? I'll buy it now. Here's my excuse to spend a lot of money, which is frustrating. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I browsed for but didn't purchase. So kind of like little wins. I looked for a lot of sundresses. I haven't really looked at ASOS much at all over lockdown, but we went out last Saturday. It was nice. We went out to, just in the car, went and got a Costa, then we went to Marks and Spencer's to get some food, and it felt very normal. Still some social distancing, like in the shop. Well, some completely social distancing in the shop and stuff, but it felt as normal as it could possibly feel during this time. And I got a little bit of a glimmer of what things could be. And I was wearing a dress because I feel like more put together in kind of a summery dress. So then I was looking on ASOS, then I was looking on Topshop, and I was really, really close to, and I didn't. So I feel like that's a little win. I didn't buy a sundress, a nice kind of summery dress. No beauty shopping at all. I did do some browsing. I have put some things in carts. Part of when I was buying things for Emma's box, I was looking at things and going, well, you know, if you spend £60, then you get this much off. And then I just kind of abandoned all of those things and went a completely different way because I thought this is too tempting. This kind of shopping is too much. Also, Money has very recently started snoring again. In my more recent videos, people have said they've missed Money, so he's back with his snoring. Exercise and clothing equipment and a Switch game. So no exercise equipment or clothing. Very tempting. I have done no exercise whatsoever. And so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, but if I had, then I would. I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. If I had this equipment, if I had these things, if I had some new leggings, if I had yoga wear, if I had a proper yoga mat, all of these things would not actually motivate me to do anything, but it's just like a fun thing to shop for. So I didn't do any of those things, although I was super tempted to finally buy something from Fabletics. Didn't. Still might in the future. Haven't right now. And then a couple of nights ago, someone messaged me to say, because I was talking about starting to do a little bit of exercise, and someone said that before they all sold out, they managed to get their hands on this Switch adventure game, which does look really cool. It's like a fitness game, not like Wii Fit. It seems like it's a story progression, so a bit like a Zelda adventure type thing. But as you go through, you have to actually physically do things. This looks really appealing to me, and it is something that I possibly would purchase in the future. But at the time I was on Argos, it was available. They're going for like twice as much on eBay. It was available. I could have had it delivered, and I was in bed. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was thinking, I've literally only just heard of this thing moments earlier, happened to find it. I'm not impulse purchasing something that I think was like £70. So I didn't. And I felt like that was like inner strength. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, and this was the night before I had agreed with Lee that I would get up really early and exercise with him, which is why I was up at 6:30, because he goes to work at 7 and he likes to exercise before work now, which is good for him. But I don't have to be up on a Thursday and a Friday. I don't have to be up at any specific time. Obviously early enough, because I don't want Lila to be by himself, although he loves it because he just sits here. Right now he's really annoyed because he would be sitting here playing wrestling. So he's really annoyed that I am commandeering this, even though it's still 7:30 in the morning. Nuts. So yeah, any kind of exercise stuff. And I think that's everything that I had on my list for things that I've kind of browsed for, but I haven't purchased. However, I did want to mention, because we're not going on holiday now, well, we are, but we're going next year. It's all been kind of pre-planned. I had in my budget, part of the reason that I've been able to pay down my debts quicker than I thought was in my budget. I had obviously like spending money, and certain things we're getting little bits of refund back because we paid for extras that are no longer available now. Our airport's changed, the plane has changed, so we paid for like slightly nicer seats, that kind of thing. And we've got multiple different refunds from different places. We were going to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. This all sucks, but you know, it's not real problems, is it? And so because we've moved everything, we've got a multitude of little refunds that have come back. And so I paid my part off those things, plus my spending money that I was saving has paid off some of my debts. And I'm as I said, I'm really, really far along. I'm probably like 85% of the way towards my goal now. So I am planning, and I know this seems counterintuitive, and especially for those of you that watch these videos and are like, what's wrong with you? You've never had a problem with spending ever. You won't understand. But those of you who are kind of like-minded will totally get it. I get paid 13 times a year. So in July, that's my 13th time. So I'll get paid twice in July. It's only the one time of year that it actually is great to get paid 13 times a year. Yay. So what that means is my bills money, because I put my bills money into a separate account, my bills money is like free money that month. It's great. It's the best time. And so that money, plus some money from selling something that I'm selling right now, will go towards one big purchase in July. And so that is, I've got like my eye on the prize. I'm hoping to purchase it once we come out of lockdown and I can actually go to a store and buy it. It's like, it's a handbag. Very on brand. So now for June and July, that is you got to be as strict as possible with yourself, because you need to have exactly this amount of money by the time you get that extra payment in July if you want that thing that you want to buy. And that's my kind of silver lining of having to rebook our holiday, not have a holiday this year. Again, I realise I am very, very fortunate to be able to still spend money. Lots of people have lost money on it. Lots of people are just like in 1,000 times worse off position. This is not a woe with me at all. I'm just kind of sharing what's happening. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. And that's my little excited thing. I have to have something. I can't like Lee and I talk about this all the time. I can't just save for saving's sake. I have to have a goal. And so now I'm doing really well on my plan for like actually paying things off. This separate thing feels like free money. This feels like it's outside of my plan. I am allowed to spend that money. That's what, you know, I can make the rules. And that's what I'm allowing myself. And yeah, he can just save indefinitely. He can save for a rainy day. I would need to know when that rainy day was and what we were going to do on that rainy day in order to motivate myself to save that money. Am I alone? I don't know. But that is everything that I've purchased this month. That's my kind of like, and a budget update, I suppose we did in the end. I'm feeling really positive. I'm also very aware, another motivating factor was we don't know what's going to happen at the end of this lockdown. Nobody knows where we're going to be in terms of jobs and security. It's, again, very, very uncertain. And so that was additional motivation to, if I get this money in, you're going to pay this off. You're going to do as much as you can, because if your income comes down, you still need to be able to be on plan and pay that off and get it done. So I was definitely additionally motivated, and I was fortunate to be in the position to be able to pay that money off. And not have, you know, found myself without in this time. But I will be sharing monthly my little updates, and let me know how much of that you want to hear about. Do you want to hear about kind of like how I'm doing? Do you want actual figures? I don't know how much to share. I'm definitely going to feel more comfortable talking about, I mean, I never feel comfortable talking about money ever. But I'm definitely going to feel more comfortable talking about money once we're out of lockdown. Because right now it is just such a sensitive subject, but at the same time, it's one that I've brought up and one that I want to see through. I don't want to just kind of drop it. We want to keep talking about it, because next year I want to say to you, right, this is how much I paid off. This is how much I did this. This is how much I paid over a certain. I'd like to be able to show you the like track, because I just didn't think that I would do it, and I did, and I'm feeling really pleased with myself. So yeah. Thank you for watching. It's been an unusual one. I'll probably get a super long and rambly one by the time I edit it. I'm not editing things out. I'm just going to throw it out there. You know, you don't have to watch it. What I think I might do is some kind of live where we like chat through stuff. Thought it would be fun to kind of go and sit in the car somewhere and do a live video, and I'll answer your questions. So maybe we'll do that in another video on this topic. But I thought I would share, this is kind of how well I've done, how well I've not done, hair all over me, this month. Let me know what you have decided to spend your money on this month. Have you done well? Have you not done well? Were you not trying in the first place? Are you just kind of like doing as you do? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.